I've made it my entire mission to build the next Ralph Lauren through my brand Carte Blanche, and I'm going to take you guys behind the scenes and show you how we're doing that with our next collection. Now, when I say building the next Ralph Lauren, I don't mean doing so by copying his exact products and his exact aesthetics, but what I do mean is embodying how timeless his brand was and how aspirational his brand is. When you think about Ralph Lauren and you think about timelessness, you think about how each of his pieces has lasted through every era. When you think of somebody who's bought a shirt maybe in the 80s, that shirt was still in style in the 90s and the 2000s, the 2010s, and even today. What we obviously see a lot of times in fashion is styles come and go, fashion comes and goes, and things like streetwear, they have kind of their hype cycles and then they fall off. But something like Ralph Lauren has continued to be timeless decade after decade. One of the most important parts when building a collection is making sure that everything is cohesive. And that stands for your Instagram, for your marketing, for your email marketing, for your videos, all the way down to, of course, your products. And if your products do not feel cohesive, then everything else is going to fall apart. So one of the things that we do as we're designing and as we're working with our designers, once we finalize the actual design, we will take those designs and we'll put it on every single color t-shirt that we're planning on releasing. And the reason that we do that is that way we can mix and match different designs on different colors, see which one looks the best, and then we can combine those together to fill out a cohesive collection. Now, for example, these hats right here, this was the original design that we got. I absolutely loved this design. I love the oval look. Something about the red just didn't feel like it hit the collection properly. So we had our designers put it on a green and then it came out really cohesive. Now, if you take adequate time to really think through your collection, think about what the aesthetic is, think about the color schemes, and you pick the products properly and you pick the designs based off the proper color, you're going to end up with something like this, something that looks extremely aesthetic. It's all very cohesive. This is going to translate very well to photo shoots and to videos and to the entire marketing scheme. Now, this collection that's upcoming in July is specifically called Athletic Club. And you can see we use the word Athletic Club quite a bit on pretty much all the products here. And when you're thinking about something like an athletic club, you're typically thinking of something like an 80s type vibe. And usually that's going to be a lot of your neutral colors. So kind of your ivy greens, your blacks, some of your creams, your whites. And so that's why this collection primarily focuses on those colors. Now, if we flash forward to one of our collections last year, this was a completely different aesthetic and different vibe. And the reason that both of these collections look like Carte Blanche, this is entirely focused on Athletic Club, and we're going to go shoot this in like a really cool old school locker room. And this one was on a ranch and it was called American Frontier. The reason these both still look like Carte Blanche is because we view things through the Carte Blanche lens. The way that we like to explain the Carte Blanche lens is that we can shoot a collection for anything that you can imagine. It could be on the ski slopes, it could be on the ranch, it could be something like an athletic club. But every little detail from the design to the photo to the angle to the entire outfit is going to be viewed from the ethos of what Carte Blanche is itself. When you do that, that's when you get seemingly completely different collections, but they still feel like Carte Blanche. Now, when you spend this much time really making sure that a collection is super cohesive across all the designs and across all the colors, then that's when you're going to get something like this. When you scroll through our lookbook and when you go through the photo shoot that we've done, you see how everything pairs really nicely. We've got a brown hat, we've got a camo hat, we've got, a shirt, a few other hats, and all of these things pair together extremely well, feel like a very cohesive collection, and that immediately elevates the brand. When you're trying to build a luxury cohesive brand that eventually can be in the ranks with something like a Ralph Lauren, every single detail matters. You can nail the color schemes, everything can be cohesive, the design can be incredible, but if you miss out on one singular detail, everything falls apart. And this is a great example. So we obviously spent, weeks and weeks designing everything. We plan out the colors, we send things off, we finally get the sample back, and what happens? The design's way too large. If we go back over here and we look at how the design is actually supposed to look, it definitely does not take up the entire hat. It looks much, much cleaner. And then when we get the sample back, it's massive, it looks too bulky, it doesn't look timeless, it doesn't look high end. That one little thing could completely destroy not just this product, but the entire collection. If it looks like we paid attention to details on everything else and the photo shoot and the designs and everything looks great, but this one hat just looks way off, and we go ahead and let this slide, the whole collection is going to fall apart. So this is a great example of you can spend all this time focusing on detail and then boom, you get a sample back after weeks. It looks like this and you have to send everything back to production. So when you're sitting here and you're trying to plan out your photo shoot and get the models hired and hire the venue and everything, and you're on a timeline, and then this comes back and you realize you have to push everything back, 2 more weeks, it obviously, it can become a hassle. but that's just part of running a brand, and things like this literally come up constantly. This upcoming drop to us isn't just another drop in the playbook. To us, it really is kind of the future of Carte Blanche and what Carte Blanche stands for. And as we've taken some time off, as we've really thought through and reimagined the brands, one of the main questions we keep asking ourselves is, what is Carte Blanche and who buys Carte Blanche? And over the past couple of years, if you ask me like who's the customer Carte Blanche, I would have said, oh, it's people that are aspirational, it's a lot of entrepreneurs, and it's people who want to look good. And I'd never really dug deeper into that of who that actually was. We spent a lot of time thinking on that. So we spent a lot of time, we dug deep into this idea, and we came up with some theories, but rather than just execute on these theories, we actually pulled a ton of data from our customer base and we let the data do the talking. After we pulled the data was pretty interesting. When we launched the brand, our average customer age was about 30 years old. And before we launched Carte Blanche, we were talking back and forth about launching a brand, and we thought maybe we wanted to do streetwear at first. And of course, the average age of that maybe would have been like, mid to young 20s. But at that point, I was already 27, kind of 28. I didn't really wear streetwear, and I really wanted to chase kind of that Ralph Lauren aesthetic. So we decided that that's when we were going to launch Carte Blanche, and we decided on kind of what that whole aesthetic was going to be. And out of the gate, our average customer age was 30. Now, what's even more unique is as of Q4 of last year, our average customer age is 36. So in just 2 years, the average customer age went from 30 to 36. And I have a lot of theories on this. One of the biggest theories is we started using some older models in Q4 of last year. But the second one is just the demographic that we've started to appeal to, especially with our marketing and especially with our products, continues to lean older and older. Another thing that the data shared with us is that we essentially have 3 different subsets of customers. And this got me super excited because since day one, since we launched the brand, these are the exact types of audiences that we wanted to target. And through our marketing and through our photo shoots and our content and everything like that, this is exactly who we've hit. So this is really exciting. The first subset is going to kind of be your young gun. So this is going to be guys that are in college, or maybe they're freshly out of college. They're 20 in their young 20s, and maybe they want to work at a big firm on Wall Street. Maybe they want to start a business. Maybe they've kind of started a business already in their college dorm. They take care of themselves. They work out. They like to look nice, and they really just kind of have a little bit deeper aspiration than those around them. So that's our first subset. Our second audience, and by far our biggest subset of customers, is essentially people like me. I'm 29. I'm going to be 30 this summer. I've now worked for myself for about 7 or 8 years at this point. These people are typically in their later 20s or their early to mid 30s, and they've been in the game for a while. So maybe they own a business, maybe they do e-commerce, or maybe they have a marketing agency or a software or something like that, or maybe they work at a big time law firm, or maybe they're a finance guy. Whatever it is, they've been in the game for a while, they've kind of established themselves, they're doing pretty well, and on top of that, they take care of themselves. They eat pretty well, they work out, they exercise, they train, and overall, they're just trying to squeeze the most out of life possible. Now, the third subset of customers, and this is the one that by far surprised me the most, and also the one that is increasing our kind of average age, is the people that are very established. So we actually, kind of surprising to me, we have a lot of customers that are in their mid 40s or even in their 50s, and they've been in the game for a long time. These are people that are running very large firms. They're CEO of very large companies, and they've been successful for a really, really long time. And I thought, maybe we had a handful of these customers, or maybe one or here would, kind of trickle through. But this has been a pretty solid customer base for us. And I'm really happy that the marketing that we've done has not just translated to kind of these young guns and these 20-year-olds, but it's also really translated well to these very, very established people. The reason I'm most excited about this is because when you're trying to build a brand that has class and has timelessness, but it's also aspirational, that's kind of a difficult task to do. And it sounds like it'd be really easy, but the thing is, when you're building something that's aspirational, it's very easy to make it cheesy. It's very easy to kind of take these phrases in your ads or in your marketing, or your email marketing, your website, or even on the products, and to be a little too motivational with it, and then it gets a little corny. And it's very difficult to keep it classy and timeless while having that aspirational edge, but not pushing it too far. So what's remaining to do before the drop? In about 2 weeks, we're going to be doing a photo shoot. So I'll take you guys behind the scenes for that. We're still working on the exact details of what we're going to do for the shoot, but I'll show you everything that we do. We spend a ton of time with our photo shoots and really planning those things out properly. And then from there, we'll be building out marketing materials. So we'll redo the website entirely. We'll build out email marketing. We'll, all of our fulfillment stuff. We'll get everything solidified there. And then at that point, it's just scaling. So we'll scale through the summer. The other thing I've been working on is our fall and winter pieces. We're going to do cut and sew for the first time ever. So right now we're working on some pants, we're working on a sweater, and we're working on a jacket. So I'm excited to finally get some of these custom pieces in for the first time and get those samples in. And of course, as those come in, I'll show you. All right, guys. Well, that's the video. If you guys enjoy this, if you enjoy seeing behind the brand, I'd really appreciate if you would subscribe. The Exhibit 13 Athletic Club drop that you see right back there, that's going to be live sometime in July. As soon as we finalize the date, we'll let you guys know. But until then, I'll see you soon.